Now, typically when it comes to FPS games, let's just say I'm more into the high-octane thrillers, like Apex Legends or Doom or The Finals, but there was something that captivated me about this title. I honestly had no previous knowledge of it before its 1.0 release, but when I saw it out on Steam, I instantly knew I had to check it out. I think it was the graphics that immediately drew me in. I mean, right off the bat, this game looks fantastic. But enough of all that though, we'll get to it later. Readyornot is a tactical first-person shooter developed by Void Interactive. The game currently retails on Steam for $50, and it's not exactly brand new. It's been around in early development for quite some time, but December 13th was their official 1.0 release out of beta. The story follows a SWAT team in the fictional city of Los Sueños. I don't know if I said that right, but we'll just keep rolling with it. California, where you take on modern-day tactical sweep and clear missions in the midst of a crime wave taking over the city. The game released with 18 completely unique missions that span from raiding drug houses to stopping political assassinations. It doesn't really have like a whole big main story drawn out with cutscenes and all that, but in the single player, you're the leader of a SWAT team, and it's your job to assemble the team members, modify their loadouts, and lead them on missions. The missions in this game can be quite intense too. Their goal was to paint a vivid reality of some of the worst crimes that SWAT forces have to deal with, and they succeed 110%. One of the missions in particular has caused quite a bit of controversy as it depicts a SWAT team going into a college to stop an active shooter. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into all this. I mean, I can definitely see how some people might feel a bit uneasy about it, but I personally didn't have a problem with it. And I don't want to sound like a bad guy saying that, but like most of you, I've played shooter games since I was super young. I mean, I remember playing the OG Modern Warfare 2 and strapping up in the elevator for no Russian when I was 8, and I think I turned out pretty alright. So I've never been a big supporter of the whole violent games turn people crazy argument. I know it's a bit of a touchy subject still, but if anything, with the missions being inspired by real world events, I think it brings attention to the kind of tragedies that are all too present nowadays. I mean, this is all stuff that you see in movies. Some people never really take the time to notice that these are actual real world wars that are waged on various crime groups. Moving on from the rant though, at the start of any game, you always load into the police headquarters first. This is where you do everything from mission selection to character customization. This could have easily just been menu screens, but it's nice that they actually made an interactive hub to do all these things, and it definitely adds to the immersion of the game. This game tries to be as highly accurate as possible, and it's honestly a super realistic SWAT simulator. The play experience is nothing like your typical FPS. Everything from health, weapon behavior, AI behavior, equipment, and available information is made to be as real as possible. This is the most real-life experience I've gotten from playing a game. I mean, it actually gets pretty stressful. It does a great job of pulling you into the world and making you feel a part of the action. On any given map, you have a general blueprint of the area, but you don't have any info on where targets can be. And if you think you're just gonna run in, slide cancel, 360 no-scope everyone, you're dead wrong. The health pools are very low, and the bots in this game do not miss. For a lack of better words, if you're caught lacking at any point, you're done for. In order to really be successful, you have to take the time to make sure you're really checking every corner. A huge part of the solo missions is controlling your own squad of SWAT members. It's your job to hire new members, and each team member has his own unique skill trait that buffs the group in a different way. In one squad, you can only have 4 different people assigned at one time, but you can have more members that are waiting to be swapped out. The game gets so realistic that as you take members on multiple missions, they'll eventually start to get stressed out and have to go to therapy, which is just wild. It doesn't really affect the gameplay that much, it's mainly just a neat little detail. At the beginning, I really cared about all my other officers, I tried to keep up with all their stress and therapy, but after a while, they just turn into straight up meat bags. I'll take a whole team in under crisis, I don't care. But the game also kind of forces you to sometimes. I don't know why, but it doesn't let you freely fire people. So I just have over half my list either sitting in therapy or a vegetable in a fake game hospital somewhere. No matter what, you always have a squad load in with you, but if you're more into the true solo missions, you can always just leave them behind at the beginning of the mission. I will note though that this game is insanely hard by yourself. Taking damage at any point is almost unavoidable, and any damage is damn near fatal in this game, so it's nice to have some sort of safety cushion. While we're on the topic of squads, it's also worth mentioning that this game has a multiplayer feature that allows you to play with up to 4 other friends. The mission progress only counts towards the host's account, but it's still a fun new way to play the game. The experience is completely different without the NPC squad because the NPCs don't care about dying, but everybody in your party for sure will. So you almost have to be even more careful since there's no free lives or meat bags at your disposal. Moving on, I wanted to touch on the loadouts real quick. Everything from weapons, attachments, and equipment is already unlocked, which is honestly really nice. All the firearms are based off guns in real life, which is a pretty cool detail, and they all feel very distinct. You can definitely tell the handling difference between 2 guns of the same category, and even a difference in firepower between guns of different categories. caliber. The ARs actually feel like it's hitting harder than the submachine guns at varying ranges. Lastly, on the gameplay subject, I just wanted to kind of talk about the NPC behavior because the bots in this game are insanely smart. Trust me, they still do have their random mess up moments, but for the most part, both your squad and the enemies make some pretty bonker decisions on their own.
I'll get them ready. LSPD. Police, get your hands up. Down on your knees, hands up.
First off, the enemy bots straight up have aimbot. I swear, they do not miss at all. You've really got to try to see them before they see you, or you're going to be taking some sort of damage, if not dying entirely. There's been times where a bot will be on the other side of a wall and perfectly trace me without even having a direct line of sight. And they have a couple of different options when it comes to certain scenarios. For instance, when you're trying to arrest somebody, they could just pop up out of nowhere with a pistol and try overtaking you. It was kind of a jump scare the first time it happened. I definitely wasn't expecting all that. Or sometimes they'll act like they're gonna get down and just run away or shoot you anyways. It's insane. You've really always got to have your guard up. But that definitely adds to the realism. If this was real life, you never know what somebody would try doing. The team AI is also pretty crazy. Those dudes never seem to miss either. And if you're ever having trouble finding evidence or something, you can just have them fetch it for you like the best damn dog a man's ever had. It's really helpful. Moving on to visuals, the game was developed using Unreal Engine 4, and dog, everything looks fantastic. You can obviously tell it's a video game, but everything looks insanely real. I was honestly quite surprised at times. The lighting and shadows do a huge portion of the work when it comes to realism, and they have a full display of different moods and settings. It's not just all the same map and time of day. The missions are also filled to the brim with everyday details that give each one its own little story and make it even more similar to everyday life. An example of this would be this room right here. You can get a pretty clear picture of the story they're trying to tell in this mission just based on the dysfunction and visual details in here. Switching over to the audio, it's pretty good. There's not much of a soundtrack unless it's really getting intense and you're about to die. For the most part, the majority of the audio experience is just you and all the real world sounds around you. Every noise also has a proximity meter, so when you're getting closer it gets louder, and when you're getting further away it gets quieter. This is also something that happens with teammates when playing multiplayer, which is really nice for immersion. As far as voice acting, the actors who did the work definitely sound fine, but I think their budget in this department might have been a bit low, because I swear, I just keep hearing the same couple voices all the time. I'm not exactly sure, don't quote me on it or anything, but I'm just saying. It was something I kind of thought about while playing, like, all these bad guys or all these cops just kind of sound the same. Not a big deal or anything either, just thought I'd mention it while we're talking about audio. Now let's get into some of the bugs and issues. I want to get it out of the way now and just say yes, the game still does play well and overall smooth, but there's still quite a bit of polishing that needs to happen in order for this to be really good. The general gameplay has a lot of different quirks. It's mainly just stuff not working right, but I did have one game-breaking issue pop up multiple times where a lot of stuff would happen on screen really quick, then my gun would just disappear and I couldn't do anything. This would cause a full reset, but other than that, it was just a lot of stuff messing up, like glitchy bodies or items, AI not following orders, evidence just disappearing, stuff like that. Another thing that's not really a bug, but something that definitely got pretty annoying was how slow it is to restart missions. Anytime you die or want to restart, you have to go all the way back to the police station and reload into the map. It lets you quickly restart in multiplayer, so I don't see why it wouldn't work in single player. It just slows the game down a lot. I also want to mention too that while playing this, my frame rate was all over the place. I'm not sure if it's my PC or the game or what, but I really don't think it's my PC. I've updated all my drivers and everything, but I'm hoping that it's just something that's fixed in a later update for the game. As it is right now, my FPS can jump anywhere from 15 to 120, and it's definitely a bit of a headache when it really starts to get down there during the play experience. In conclusion, Readyornot offers an extremely fun and methodical FPS experience. The game is very simple at its core. You go on SWAT missions, arrest or neutralize bad guys, and bag all the evidence. That's about it. What's insanely complex and impressive though is how real it all feels and how much work went into making it that way. This game has a lot of really great things going for it, and the only thing really holding it back right now in my eyes is the performance issues and bugs. If I had to wrap this all up into a rating today 1 to 10, I think I'm going to hit it with an 8. If it ran a lot smoother, it honestly might have taken over the 5th spot on my top games of 2023 list, but that's just not the case. On the list or not though, this game definitely has a bright future, and I'm excited to keep playing and checking out future updates. So that's going to about do it here for the review today. Real quick before we go, I just wanted to mention the grading scale real quick, because I already know it's pretty whack. The 1 to 10 is pretty underwhelming, and I want to try to figure out something unique to the channel. So just wanted to say it's something I'm working on, and if anyone has any suggestions, that'd be awesome too. I'm open to any ideas in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. This has been Lunar, and welcome to Bound.